Hi, I'm Victor, the main organizer of the Full Stack Flutter conference. On this channel we publish the best talks from the conference every week throughout the year, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I'm also the founder of ServerPod, so if you want to build your backend in Dart, make sure to check that out too. No backend? No problem! Alicja Ogonowska is an experienced mobile app developer who will teach us how Firebase Extensions can simplify common backend tasks. Let's dive in.
Hello everyone, my name is Alicja Ogonowska. I've been working as a mobile app developer for over 8 years now. First, I started as a native Android developer and then I moved to Flutter, never regretting the change. Today, I'm going to share a secret with you. You don't need to have a backend to fulfill your backend needs in your Flutter apps. You can use Firebase extensions for that. How? Let me show you. Because not all apps need a full-blown backend. Imagine this, you write an application. It's quite simple, whether it's your pet project, something for the uni, but even something for a client. If it doesn't have that much functionalities, maybe even one screen for starters, you don't need much and it can start off really simple. But as the app grows, so do its needs, and sooner or later you will end up looking for at least one of the two things, authentication and data storage. And you have two options here. Either you can start looking for a backend developer, so that means you need to hire someone, pay someone, or you can roll up your sleeves, discover a technology that you have no experience with, and spend days or even weeks learning, building, and ending up with something mediocre, to say the least. There are many products aiming at fulfilling those needs, with Firebase being one of the most popular ones. Created by Google, Firebase is a comprehensive toolset designed to help you build, release, and monitor your apps, as well as keep your users engaged. And that's just a short description. When it comes to classic backend tasks, Firebase has you covered. You can use Cloud Firestore as your database, Cloud Storage for file storage, and Firebase Authentication for, authentication. But as your app grows, so do its needs, and simple writing and querying data might not cut it anymore. Imagine you want to boost your users' experience, for example, by scheduling pushes at certain moments in the application's life. Let's take this chart for example. So you want to send a push whenever a user gets a new follower. That means a write to their user's followers collection happened. You would need some kind of backend to trigger the Firebase cloud messaging. And here is where Firebase also has you covered, as it has Firebase functions. The serverless framework allows you to run backend code automatically in response to various triggers, like events from different Firebase products, HTTP calls, or scheduled events. You don't need to worry about deploying servers, scaling them up. Firebase does all that for you. And also it provides very easy integration with other Firebase products. Sounds amazing, but there's a catch. You have to write a cloud function in a language that you may be not so super familiar with, like TypeScript, JavaScript, or Python. You need to maintain it and you need to deploy it. And you know what they say, the best code is no code at all. Probably you will again end up looking for a real backend developer. But here is where Firebase extensions come to shine. They take the power of Firebase services even further by providing prepackaged solutions for common tasks. These extensions offer ready-to-use functionalities, saving developers effort and time. It's a plug-and-play solution, so all you have to do is select the right extension, install it, and configure it. You don't need to do any maintenance, just have fun. And extensions are triggered when a specific event happens in your Firebase project. So you may wonder, okay, but that sounds quite similar to Firebase function, so what's the difference? And not that much, to be honest. Firebase extensions use cloud functions under the hood, but you don't have to write any code. Just click through a configuration form. If you can write cloud functions, then sure, you can create solutions that are tailored directly to your needs, but some challenges are pretty common. I'm sure all of you have ever had to write image resizing code, or shortening a URL, or triggering an email. That's what extensions are for. They provide solutions for common tasks. And what makes the difference is that each extension has an extension.yaml file, which specifies the configurable parameters that the extension will be using, list of Google services to be used that will be automatically enabled for you if they are not, required access roles that the extension needs to operate, and resources needed to be running. Enough with the theory, let me show you where you can actually find the extensions. So if you go to Firebase and open your project, I created the project in Firebase before, you can either find the extension here on the left tab, or you can go directly to extensions.dev, where you have the extensions hub, which is like a pub dev for Flutter packages. And you can see all the available extensions in here. They are all open source. Some of them were written by Google, some by Firebase team, some by third-party providers like Algolia, the search engine, Stripe for payments, and Revenue Cat for in-app purchases. And some of them were written by, like regular people like you and me, and maybe the next extension can be written by one of you. Anyway, as I was scrolling through the hub, I noticed many interesting extensions, and a few years ago I worked on a project that had no real backend, only depended on Firebase products, and of course Firebase functions a lot, and I already see like at least 2 things that I had to write on my own, maintain, and yeah, it cost me for sure some gray hair, and there are already extensions for that. But while scrolling today, or when I was preparing for this talk, one extension especially caught my attention, and I immediately got an idea for it. My app will allow the user to take or upload a picture and record a voice note attached to it. No, it will not be using the image resize extensions, although that would probably be nice to have as well. But use cases are countless. You scroll through internet, see a product that caught your attention, bam, screenshot it, and record a note to self to order it online. Or you are at the restaurant, you eat an amazing dish, bam, take a picture and quickly record what the ingredients are, what it tastes like, etc., so that you can recreate that at home. So you will have a list of pictures and voice notes that you can go through. But let's be honest, who has time to listen to those recordings? I don't know about you, but personally, I think that there is a special place down there for people who use voice messages. Anyway, the extension I will use is speech-to-text extension created by Google Cloud. So let me look for it. It was somewhere. Yeah, so it transcribes speech-to-text. So whenever you will click on an extension, you will get all the details about the extension, starting with which products, Firebase products is it using, the version, the link to source code, who published it, etc. But what is also interesting and important for you is to check the documentation that describes exactly what you can expect for a given extension, what are some recommended use cases, and whether there is some additional setup that you need to do. And also one important note, to install extensions, your product must be on the Blaze plan, so you need to enable billing. But just don't be afraid of it, because Firebase generally has a pretty generous free tier, so if you are just doing a pet project or playing around, it will be really hard to hit that, but nothing is impossible. And what is also important here, you can see the list of configurable parameters, so what you'll have to specify. So for example, in here, how the extension works is whenever a new recording is added to the cloud storage bucket, the extension is triggered and it transcribes this audio file, and it can output it as a text file also to the storage, or it can also upload it to a specific Firestore collection. And there are also some specific speech-to-text API settings to be specified, like a language model, code language, and whether the punctuation should be automatically enabled. And also you are informed what resources will be created by installing this extension. So there will be a cloud function. So thankfully you won't have to write it on your own. And also an event arc channel if you want to listen to the notification from this extension and maybe react somehow to them. This is what you can use. And in how to install, it's just a description of Firebase console. Somehow for me it was easier to install it via the web. So basically all you have to do is click install. You select the project that you want to install it in. And one interesting thing, I already have this extension installed in this project. So Firebase is informing me about that another instance of this extension exists. And one important note, actually you can install the same extension multiple times in the same project with different configuration. So maybe that makes sense for your project. So basically it will get an ID. You will have to agree to be built. And then you have to review what will be created. So you'll be using the Cloud Speech-to-Text API. And for me, it was amazing because I didn't have to go through the Cloud Speech-to-Text API, enable anything, read additional documentation. I just, clicked on an extension and magic was happening. And you will know what will be created. Then you have to grant access to the storage and cloud data store. And then here's the configuration. So you select a region. So a good rule of thumb is to use the same region that you have for other products. So for me, it will be something Europe-based. Then you specify where the transcription will be uploaded if you want to use them in the storage. You can also specify a Firestore collection. Then the code, the language model, I use default, and whether the punctuation should be used. And then all you have to do is click on install. So I already did that. I won't click that again, but that's installed. This is how my app will look like on web. The main page will allow you to log in. I will talk about it a bit in a minute. But basically, I'm just using Firebase authentication with anonymous login so that it's super easy, but I do have some kind of authentication. And after you log in, your saved content will be displayed here. For now, there is nothing in here. And you can add new content. So basically, you can pick image from gallery. On Android and iOS, you can also take a picture directly. If you select something, you can record a voice note, and then once you save it, it will be saved and visible on the main page. So actually I can record something, but for now the transcription is turned off, so there will be no transcription. But basically this is how it will look like. So now I'm gonna show you the code a little bit. So this is pretty simple. In the main function, before running your app, you need to initialize Firebase. And if you're using the Firestore CLI, it's pretty simple because you already have all the configuration generated for you. And basically, I have my homepage where I'm listening for the Firebase of state changes, so that to know if the user is authenticated or not. And on the app bar, the user can either log in or log out. And then below, I'm listening to the contents query, which I will show you in a second. And based on that, I'm displaying the contents list. So what is actually the contents query? This is the query that I am running from Firebase Firestore, and it queries the collection of users and inside the collection of contents. So whenever a user submits an image, the pair of image and recording, for me it's called a content, and I am saving the image URL and recording URL. So I'll show that in a second. So basically on the home page, I am displaying the contents. So I'm mapping it from the Firestore structure to my model, and then I just displayed the image URL. as the image network, and then transcription, but I'll get back to that. And when it comes to the add content page, this allows the user to submit a photo, either from a file or from camera on mobile devices, and then record a voice note. And once the user saves it, it is uploaded to buckets, to the Fire storage. And once I upload it, after that I get download URL for photo and for the voice recording, and I also save that to my Firestore so that I have easy access to that. And this is where I'm doing the Firestore add action. So I add my content and save it to Firestore. And when it comes to storage, I'm storing images and recordings in two separate buckets. And why? Because while testing, I found out that the extension is listening to all changes to the storage. Even though it knows that it should only transcribe audio files, it's also triggered when you upload a new image, which I think is a disadvantage. Like, it could be configured better. So what I did to avoid that is I created a separate bucket for the recordings, and whenever in the code I'm uploading a recording, I don't use the default bucket but the second one. So yeah, those are the images sorted by users. So yeah, a lot of different. I won't be opening the images because I don't know what I was testing with. And when it comes to recordings, for each recording that I upload, the extension is creating a transcription, that text. But for me, it was not super convenient to then read it from the storage, open the text file and display that in the application. I preferred much more to use the Firestore for that. So in here I have two collections, so the users that I'm creating on my own with the content, and the transcriptions that are created by the extension. And now I was thinking how to actually link that. So there are separate collections, and I want to display the transcription in my application. But in the end it's quite easy, because as I mentioned, for each collection, for each content, I'm saving the image URL. So it's the download URL from storage, so that I can display the image directly, and a recording URL, which, yeah, it's not actually a URL, it's more of a path in the storage, but anyway. But when the transcription extension is adding the document to the collection, it also saves the file name, and I'm using that. And what I don't like about this extension is that it also saves like failed transcriptions to the Firestore. And for example, in here it failed because the file that it tried to read is actually let me show you. So it's the transcription text. So it's the output of previous transcription. It's in the storage that I defined that should be triggering the extension, but it's a text file. So yeah, I think it's a feedback. I'll probably file a bug for that. But I think in here it would make sense to probably have like a cleanup function to clean that up for you. But in here, this is how the success looks like. So you have the status of success, and you have the transcription available. So now let's get that in the application. So in the code, as I mentioned, for the content list, I'm displaying the image using the image URL, and then I want to display the transcription. And for that, I have another query, and let me show that to you. So basically, I'm calling the collection of transcription, where the file name is the same as the file path as I have saved for each content. And also I'm filtering for the status of success, so that I don't get failed stuff, and I limit that to 1. And yeah, if the transcription is available, I display it, and if not, I'm just displaying the no transcription available text. So let me show you how that works in action. This is how the application looks like. I have to log in first. Then I can pick image from gallery. Yeah, I'm already prepared. And now I can just record something and let's see whether that will be working or not. I don't want it to be too long to not mess up my backend. I save it. I submit it to Firestore, data storage. I wait just a little bit. Yeah, it's working. So yeah, that's actually it when it comes to my short demo. So it was my first time using Firebase extensions. And to be honest, it was pretty easy to get everything going. Like I could stay in my area of expertise. So in the Flutter world, I didn't have to touch any TypeScript, JavaScript, or Python code, which I really enjoyed. But I have some comments about that. So while I generally enjoyed using the Firebase extensions, I have some comments that you should also be aware of. So first of all, this is still in beta, so keep that in mind that things might change and the changes might be breaking. Also, not everything can be configured. And for example, I didn't like the fact that also the failed ones, the failed transcriptions are being stored into Firestore. I think that could be optimized probably. Also, I was hoping that I'll be able to somehow save it directly to my contents Firestore document. But yeah, that will definitely require more work on my side. So for example, I would have to do that on my own, either from Flutter code or by writing a cloud function. So I skip that for now. Yeah, you can always use functions if you think some configuration is missing. And also there is not that big of a variety of extensions, but that is also because it's not, the feature is still quite new. And actually it's a call to action to all of you, even to myself, that if you see that something is missing, maybe you already have a cloud function written for that, why not registering as a publisher and publishing it and supporting other users so they don't have to struggle that much. So that's it for today. Thank you for your attention. This is QR code to get the whole code so you can read it more carefully. I also provided a README so that you will know step by step what you have to do to recreate that on your machine. And if you have any questions, this is now a good moment to ask them. Thank you.